Now today we will talk about the technical aspects of this work. First of all, I have to thank you all, especially the field staff of 3 divisions, other 4 divisions, who have walked with me, who have been working with me, and I am indeed very grateful to all of you that you have done field work in a very efficient manner. This was a very big challenge because after 25 years, this is not all. Please close this door. No student now. Is ahead. Why I am calling attainments? You have attained something in these 2 years. We started the work in February 2018 and now almost 2 years are there. And when I look back, lots of things have happened. There is still something to be done. So I will speak on 4 issues. What is silviculture? And how scientific forest management has been revived. We will also do introspection of attainments. Then I will discuss with you the timetable, which is very important for silviculture operations. And part 4 will be what are the challenges ahead. Now, what is silviculture? Why experimental silviculture fellings are being regulated under established principles of scientific forest management? And why strict monitoring is essential? Now, what is silviculture? This is the book definition. But according to me, silviculture is we should visit forests, we should talk to our trees, we should go to forests as frequently as possible, then only we can do silviculture. Silviculture can't be done from office tables or from computers. I have visited these forests 4 times already, and tomorrow from day after is my 5th visit. So silviculture really means you look at your forest, the growth of the forest, the composition, the health, and the quality of forest. So as I said before, Monitoring Committee is very thankful to the Forest Department that you have facilitated a process whereby we have taken the science of silviculture from the books, from working plan codes and other codes onto 65 forests. Now, Supreme Court monitoring is for 65 forests, right? So my talk will be basically for the 65 forests. Now, most important thing is that technical regulations have to be strictly enforced. Many people would misunderstand my working, but no. I have a role to play. Supreme Court has trusted me. They have called me after 25 years of my retirement and asked me to go and get the work done. So I have a responsibility towards that code, and whatever I recommend them, they accept it. So you should understand that this is a very sensitive work, and unless we do with all seriousness, we can't continue this work further. Now, first let us look at our forest. What are our forests? There are 2 types of data we have got. You call that we have 37,000 square kilometer of forest, which is 66% of the geographical area. But more important is the latest report of the Indian State of Forest Board. I think many of you probably know that new report has come, and I have taken the data from there. So, very dense forests, which are really good forests, is only 6%. Medium density forests is about 13%. Open forests are 9%. So overall, we have got about 28% of forest area, which we can really call forests. Were 3,110 in 2017, and initially the area was 3,225, and the area has come down. Although this year there is an increase of only 3 square kilometers. So the dense forests are those forests which are under protection working circles, deodar and coniferous forests, and these are the forests where Supreme Court has agreed with me that there should be no diversions. There should be no diversions under Forest Conservation Act in these forests. If we lose our dense forests, Himachal will lose its entity. These are the dense forests which are really good forests, and we have to protect these forests. Other forests are mildly going up and down, but overall, let's see what's the impact now. In 2019 report, the total forest cover is 15,000 square kilometer, which is 334 square kilometer more than the previous report. So it's a matter of satisfaction that area is increasing, no doubt. But as foresters, we should understand that we have to increase area under dense forests. Then a very big factor which I have now been able to address suitably, that Honorable Supreme Court has agreed with me that undemarcated protected forests in Himachal, which are almost 46% of the total forest area of Himachal, but totally neglected. Now Supreme Court has agreed that they should also be fenced, there should be boundary marks, and they should be managed same way as we are managing our demarcated protected forests and reserve forests. Undemarcated protected forests have been mentioned in your working plans, they are under your working circles, but we were treating them very lightly. And anybody could come in and poach in this forest. Well, this is not going to happen. And this good beginning is being made from Nurpur Forest Division. All the undemarcated protected forests in Nurpur Forest Division will have boundary marks after GPS team has given the boundary positions, and they will be now protected, fenced wherever required, and regeneration efforts will be made there. Now if somebody asks, how do I do scientific forest management? Scientific forest management is only possible, number one, my forests which are in forest record must have the same record in the revenue record also. Up till now, whether they are reserve forests, demarcated forests or undemarcated protected forests, they will all be entered in the revenue record. It's a commitment of the government to the Supreme Court. And I am going to make sure that this happens before I name. You fence it. This forest which is the open wealth, nobody is bothered about it. They are only meant for diversions. Now this will stop. If forest management has to take place, it has to take place in a proper way. Second thing, what is required? Technically sound working plans based on field inspection and not in offices. I am very sorry to say, I have been moving with the working plans. Very good efforts have been made by the working plan officers. The working plan officer says it's a PB1 forest. It is not a PB1 forest. When we go there, we change it as the forest demands. So here, my recommendation would be that all working plans, particularly of Bilaspur and Nurpur, should be immediately taken up for mid-term revisions. Mid-term revision means I again go to my forest, right? I see the composition of my forest. I see whether regeneration has come or not, and then I suitably allot it, whether it needs regeneration or it doesn't need regeneration. Third, qualified and trained frontline staff, forest guard, deputy rangers and trained forest rangers. You are all here. I have a very strong belief, and I have always believed while I was in service, you are all very capable. You are all very honest, you want to work. And you are going into the field, but only thing is you are not probably getting the right inspiration or right guidance. Now a stage has come that you have to work into the forest, go into the forest, and then do your work. I am very clear in my mind that unless HOF, senior APCCFs, CCFs, they take the trouble of going to the forest, you cannot do silviculture. Forget about silviculture. Do what you were doing before. If you want to work silviculture, if you want to have sustainable forest management, you have to be going to forests. At the age of 82, I am going to each and every forest. Why? Just to tell you that forests have to be managed, this is the only. You can't manage forests from the offices. So now this trend has to change. Fourth is all the officers. Officers have to support the staff, guide the staff, but going to forests, not from tolerant, not from circle offices. Go into the forest. Sit with the staff, walk with the staff, as I do. Most of the decisions I take when I walk and do the videography. So this concept has to come. It's very unfortunate that moment a person becomes a rank higher, he thinks now I'm an office kababu. My work is over, now I'm only to sit in the office and just write letters and issue orders. No, this is wrong. The more senior you are, you should be going more to the forest. Now this is very clear. That is why I have set these 4 goals and these have been accepted by the Supreme Court. If somebody asks you, how do I do scientific forest management? Just by giving affidavits to the Supreme Court? No. I must do all these 4 things in tandem. सारी चीजें इकट्ठी करना, अच्छी वर्किंग प्लान बनानी है, फॉरेस्ट को बाउंड्रीज लगानी है, रेवेन्यू रिकॉर्ड पे रखना है, ट्रेन स्टाफ रखना है, और फिर उसके अलावा जो सीनियर ऑफिसर्स हैं उन्होंने भी फील्ड में जाना है। ये जब तक चारों चीजें इकट्ठी नहीं होगी आप फॉरेस्ट्री नहीं कर सकते। Now these are your attainments. You have managed 65 forests. The area of these forests were 2054 hectares. They are spread in 20 forest beats, 63 forest compartments, 5 forest ranges, 4 forest divisions and 3 forest circles. So I'm glad all the bosses of circles are here and they will understand what we are doing, what we have achieved. So how do you see these forests? There are 50 forests in Nurpur. There are 5 forests in Murari, Cheap Pine, 1 forest in Ponta, 1 in Jamta, and most importantly, there are some forests, 8 forests south, which are only possible if we do regeneration of these forests. We have no right to fell forests if we cannot regenerate our forests. Now, why I am here? My role is this. I'll read with you. Felling of trees in India has, this is the order of the Supreme Court. Felling of to be monitored very carefully. What does it mean? To be monitored very carefully. That's why they have sent me. They have told me, please go monitor these fellings very carefully. To see what? To see whether such agricultural fellings actually helps in the regeneration of forest or not. So you have been given permission to fell these forests to see whether regeneration comes or not. So my entire focus is on regeneration, not on felling. Fellings have to be done, then only regeneration will come. But post fellings, what is our responsibility? Must show regeneration. We must show regeneration. That's the whole work. These are the conditions of Supreme Court. It should be ensured that these forests are kept free from grazing and are protected. Number 2, the state should also ensure that sufficient number of healthy saplings are planted. Healthy saplings, not weak saplings. Healthy saplings are planted so that there is proper regeneration of the forest. Third condition, the state of Himachal Pradesh should ensure that adequate funds are made available and reforestation is done either simultaneously or, if it's not possible, immediately after felling is complete. So this is our mandate. Our mandate is fell but regenerate. Don't depend on natural regeneration. Do planting. Planting do with what plants? Tall plants, healthy plants. And we must fence our areas from grazing. And we must fence our area before planting, not when the planting season is over. Now let's see what are your forests. We have 20 reserve forests, which is 47% of the total area. आप लोगों को समझ आ रही है or not? You are understanding everything? Or am I going too fast? Chadel is okay. There are 20 forests, reserve forests. Demarcated protected forests are 10. 3 are demarcated protected forests in Nurpur. And 2 cooperative forest societies again in Nurpur. So overall, what does it mean? 7% are under demarcated protected forests. 45% are under undemarcated protected forests and 1% under CSS. So this, why I am presenting this chart to you all is that we are analyzing forest by forest. Whether it's a legally classified forest, which working plan circle it is there. So all these issues are being examined and each forest is being treated as a unit of merit. Now these are achievements and you should be happy about it. I am also very happy, let me tell you. You have done many good things, but still a lot has to be done. I think in the first time in the history of Forest Department, such a large area has been gone over with 100% enumerations. I don't know how many of you know that in all these 65 forests, each and every tree above 10 centimeter diameter or 4 inch diameter has been enumerated by UP, which is very creditable. And Supreme Court recognizes this. All forest boundary positions have been fixed by our GIS team. This they mentioned in their discussion. You have done silviculture markings over huge areas, which is unimaginable. For example, in Nurpur, 30 forests have been handed over this year to the Forest Corporation after completing silviculture marking. It's a huge task. I am very happy this has happened in the field. Now look at the fellings. Forest Corporation did a felling of 10,000 cubic meter last year, and this year, over an area of 1,290 hectares, is going to 87 crores sale. You imagine? And last year, of course, the sale was much less. But this year, the sale of the Forest Corporation, especially from Ponta, will be 87 crores. So it's a huge work, huge responsibility. We are taking out so much of forest so much of yield from our forests. So it's necessary that we replenish, we regenerate these forests. You have done fencing, very good work in Ponta. And when this case was being taken up Supreme Court on 29th of November, the Advocate General said, sir, he is very strict. He wants very good fences. So the judges said, yes, do it. That's why he's there. We have to put 5-strand barbed wire fencing with RCC codes. No compromise on that. Because you have to see long-term management of this forest. Surveys. Now, regeneration survey, there is a special section on that. But regeneration survey is the only method that I can convince Supreme Court that when we fell forests, we have brought regeneration. We have counted natural regeneration in plots. 100% copies have been counted. 100% artificially planted saplings have been counted. And we have given the regeneration results. But regeneration is not one-time affair. We'll do every year in October. We'll again do in April. And again in October. The April regeneration will tell us how much beating up is required, how much has survived, how much we have to do in the succeeding year. Then Supreme Court sent me for supervising fellings. When I went to forests, I found these forests don't need fellings. Jamta range in Nahan, we are converting that forest into a city park, no fellings. In Nodpur, many forests we have just kept them under recuperation. Recuperation means when the patient is very weak, you take him to a sanatorium, give him good diet, make him healthy and bring him back. So recuperation are those forests which are totally degraded. There is no growth. They have been heavily grazed. So we are protecting those forests. Then expenditure. Well, when you want to improve your forest, you have to spend money and government has to give this money. There is no reason why they can't. So this, I'm just giving you an idea that we have spent 3 crore and 60 lakhs so far in these forests, but we'll be spending more to bring forests to a better health and improve their productivity, keep them fenced, keep them protected. Now let's see again your achievement. This is easier way of explaining. We had 65 approved forests for 2 years. In first year we could only do 21% because there was a restriction from the Supreme Court which was wrong. I got it corrected that only 20 hectares should be corrected at a time, should be gone over at a time. I got it corrected. Now we can take full compartment. Compartment is the unit of management. You can't split it. Now look at the left out forests. 79% forests are being worked in this year and they will be worked in next year. And the biggest workload is with our friends from Dharamsala sector. You are the key person now to handle the remaining work. The last 4, Nahan, they are okay. They are happy because their work is almost okay. But you are the one who has got maximum pressure. This I have already explained how much standing I did not repeat. Now this is important. Here I will take more time. The monitoring committee is here for what? Monitoring committee is here to ensure that forests which are felled, there is regeneration. So my esteemed colleague Dr. Bhardwaj will be coming tomorrow. He is guru of most of you people here. He has taught silviculture and forestry to you. So my and his role is this. This is our work. Where you are not cooperating with us fully. Let me tell you very well. I told the government also, I told the forest minister also. And he is coming to Nurpur on 14th. And I will show him the forest. Basically, once you fell a forest, you have got to fence it before the next rainy season. You have wasted time. You have not done it. So now this is the position now. We had approved 28 forests for fencing during 2019-20, which are just 32% of the area. During 2020-21, that is the following year, we have to fence 49 forests, out of which Bharadi will only do 1 forest, Ponta will do 3 forests, and Nurpur 45 forests you have to fence. And these forests are what? Leftover forests of 2018-19, handed over for felling during 2025 forests. Recuperation forests planned for fencing, these are 11 forests. Forests handed over for felling during 2019-20, requiring fencing, 29 forests. As I said, 30 forests have been handed over to Forest Corporation. And you know the Khair forest, what is their composition? We did enumerations, we thought we'll do markings there is nothing, no growth. Over a period of time, these forests are so degenerated. So, our responsibility is, moral responsibility is, that whatever forest we take, if we do felling, we make sure that forest is improved qualitatively, उसका growing stock अच्छा हो जाए और उसकी सारा जो regeneration है वो ठीक हो जाए, हमारी सारी effort के लिए. So, why I have shown in red color? Wherever you see red color, means needs attention. Needs attention of Mr. Kaushal, needs attention of Madam Basu, and so on. If we do not complete our targets in Dharamsala, this experiment is not going to end very happily. I am very clear about it. Now, after having walked in this forest for 2 years, myself and Chandel, we had been sitting for hours together. How do we improve the situation? So, for improving the situation, there is a timetable which we want to follow. The timetable is in 3 parts. Pre-felling operation the preceding year. In whichever year you have to do felling, एक साल पहले you have to start the work. This is that. Operations in the year of felling. And third, post-felling operation in succeeding year. So let's see what we want to do. Now, for example, a forest is prescribed for felling in 2020. Or I will say 2021 because we are already in 20. So a forest which is prescribed for felling in 2021, in September 2020 I will start doing all these things. I will go to my forest, I will see whether it is lantana or not. I will prepare compartment-wise basic technical data. I will have the validation process whether fellings are to be done there or not, whether the forest deserves felling or not. For example, many forests have come to me after Supreme Court had approved, which do not need felling. They need rest and recuperation, but they were proposed for felling because the working plan said so. So this all type of analysis should be done in December. Then you should be able to send your cost estimates or APOs, whatever you call, in January. And in February, finally, the whole circle should be in agreement. Yes, this forest needs this kind of work and we need so much of it. Now come to year of felling. In year of felling, what you have to do? Kindly complete 100% enumerations in April, May. In that year, April, May, you have to complete this. Silvicultural markings must be completed in June, July. Unfortunately, no code. Our markings.
Sir, there were only
Please,
five.
later on, you will get chance. Later on.
And it were late.
Later on. Let me complete. Over by 15th September. If you do not hand over lots by 15th September, they take more time to do tendering, negotiation, reducing the rates. If you delay the handing over, the whole cycle will get disturbed and the forest would not be given back to you in March. I want these forests to be given to me back in March so that I can start fencing works, I can start regeneration works. In fact, when I go for inspection, I had told the Forest Corporation that you will be thrown out from these forests in March. What does it mean? कि आप जाइए, आप अपना काम कर लिया, आप जंगल वापस कर दो हमें, हम इसमें regeneration के काम करें. And that is only possible if you hand over lots to Forest Corporation by 15th September. It's not difficult. It just requires more staff, more planning. I know Dharamsala had difficulty. Officers are coming, going, nobody was staying for markings. This is not their fault. But the overall result is that if the handing over is delayed, the entire cycle of regeneration will get affected. Our job is to regenerate. My job is not to fell. Felling I am doing because the forests are mature. I have to remove the overgrown trees and I have to remove that. But what's my aim? Regenerate the forests. So after fellings have been done in the next year, what do I do? As soon as the Forest Corporation goes, I start with my erection of RCC 4 5-strand barbed wire fence. Corporation has finished their work, I immediately start fencing the area. Where do I want to fence areas? Not all areas blindly. Where I want to have regeneration. PB1 areas must be fenced. You all understand what are PB1 areas? PB1 areas are where we have removed the mature trees, we have created the gaps, and only mother trees have been left, so we have to plant. We have to supplement natural regeneration. And for natural regeneration to be protected, for planting to be successful, I must complete my fencing by May. And I'm sure we can do it. If you have the budgets, excellent budget, you can do it. So this fencing has to be done 15th April to end May. Then eradication of regeneration inhibiting weeds other than lantana, seed fall in sal falls, huge leaf fall. That has all to be removed and taken care of. Now this is very important. Then I have to do planting. And planting is from 15th July to 15th August. Nurpur has done planting all right. But they did planting where there was no fencing. So this is to be avoided. For whatever reason it has happened, we have to forget about it, we have to avoid it. No planting should be done unless the area has been fenced. आप अपने orchard में fence करके सब कुछ करें. You don't allow cattle to grow in your orchards. Then most important, I must start my regeneration assessment. I must physically see. All of you should know that I believe in one thing, seeing is believing. Many people will tell me here many things. I am not going to believe so easily unless I have seen in the field. So Supreme Court has given me a definite mandate. Please go and see and then report to us. So I can't give report from my offices, that's why I walk. I have walked through nalas with him in Nurpur. To all kinds of places I have walked just to make sure that I can report to Supreme Court that yes, staff has done this work. Then this is, last stage is very important. Checking on-site compliance of approved interventions for maturing regeneration by CCF, APCCF. Now I am very clear in my mind that unless this battery of APCCF, PCCFs who are just sitting in tolerant, unless they come to the field, this department cannot work. I have told the minister, I am telling the chief minister also. This is not the way to manage forests. You people have to go to forests. When I can go at the age of 82, why can't you? I am very clear about it. I have told Ajay, your half also. I am telling again the forest minister that if you people cannot go to forests, close this work. Close this shop. And don't call your IFS officers. Go to revenue service. Change your profession. Yes, we are here to protect forests, to manage forests by going to forests. Now what are the challenges? Authentication of legal status of forests by notation in revenue record has to be done. मेरा orchard है, that is entered in revenue record in my name, in my ownership. सरकार के जंगल हैं, they are not to be entered. Why? So that we can easily divert those forests. Now this is not going to happen. Unless these forests are recorded, Supreme Court is not going to allow you to do any more silviculture work. You have to show All these 65 forests have been entered in the revenue record as such. Government has given an affidavit on 29th April. Yes, we are committed to it, we'll do it. So I'll make sure this is done. Now, it's very unfortunate that our forests are being encroached. We have seen in Nurpur and 2 forests in Ponta that people are encroaching your forests. And we are absolutely calm, absolutely quiet. This is not going to happen. These evictions have got to be taken out. Again, handing over lots. This is red. Basu, this is red. Handing over lots. Closure by barbed wire fencing in felled areas before planting. In Nurpur it has been eaten, right? Because there was no fence. Even now when I went, putting the fences being made high. I mean, this fencing is not for public consumption. This is meant for protecting our growth. Let's understand this. It's not a bagar, हाँ जी fence लगा दिया है. No, fence has to be effective. Fence का मतलब है कि उसमें कोई जानवर नहीं जाएगा, कोई grazing नहीं होगी. Grass cutting you can allow, no problem. Even Gloria sir will also tell you, he is also happy with grass cutting. I am also happy, no problem. I have read in your report. So grass cutting is allowed, but no fencing, no grazing. Otherwise all your regeneration will finish. Timely budget allocation is not your responsibility, this is responsibility of government. Now, I think for the first time in the history of Forest Department, we will be, if a family has got 5 children, the 5th children is a neglected child. So our UPFs were neglected children, a neglected child. इसका कोई ध्यान नहीं था ये UPF है. No. Now Supreme Court agrees with me that even UPFs must have boundary position which our GIS team has given. We cannot put boundary pillars, I know it, because the proper settlements are not done. But nobody can prevent me by putting my own boundary positions. I am going to put boundary position. And I can fence my UPFs if there is regeneration. This is your property. It's a government forest. You have a compartment history file of that forest. It is entered in your working plan. It's a part of your working plan. So why can't you manage it properly? Now we'll have to do it. So 35 UPFs. I hope when I go Basu, I'll see that those poles have been fitted.
Sir.
Will I see?
Ji,
Good. I'll make videograph and send to Supreme Court that these 35 UPFs have also been, boundary positions have been fitted and the fencing marks, the RCC posts have been put. Then regeneration surveys is commendable work which all of you need my appreciation. It has been done very well and we'll repeat it. Now kindly read 8. What does it mean? Regeneration surveys in all felled forests in 2 years, once again in October 2020, to assess regeneration status in 3 categories for final reporting to Hon'Ble Supreme Court. So we are making 3 assessments. Survival of regeneration from seed origin, chain pine. Coppice regeneration in your areas and in Ponta. And 3rd, artificial planting. So coppice is counted 100%, artificial is counted 100%, natural regeneration is by portraits, by that method which we have got. And this I want to fine tune. And the only way the Supreme Court can be convinced is that we will have to report to them that our staff has carried out in a very honest manner proper regeneration survey. And this is the figure of survival. Regeneration means survival. What trees, what plants have survived. It's not enough to say इतने लाख plant किया. No, I have told Forest Minister also. ये जो अभियान चलाते हैं बिल्कुल बंद करिए. Plant only those trees which can be saved, which you can protect. Don't do planting and waste of money where there is no fence. There is so much of Baltic pressure. So regeneration survey is a very commendable work which our field staff has done, and we will do more about it. Now I'm going to Nagpur, I'll check those regeneration surveys figures. I'll see whether the figures which have been given to me, do they match with the field conditions or not. Not that I doubt you, but I have to satisfy myself, so that I can tell Supreme Court that yes, they have done it. Then mid-term working revision of Bilaspur and Nagpur working plans. That is not your work, that is the work of the higher grade staff, they will do it. So I think now we are on the final step. Yeah, now we are on the final. Thank you very much. Now I don't know what's the time management. What time was assigned to me that time?
Sir,